Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking at printing a document, in particular a table, because they're particularly difficult to do this at say 50% of its original size or even 25% of its size. So the problem is here, I downloaded this calendar from calendarpedia.com. It's come in at A4 paper size, which is sort of roughly equivalent to letter in the US. And it's in landscape mode, and this calendar fits the whole page. The problem is I wanted to print it about a quarter of its size because I want to tape it into a diary. Now there's no easy way to do this. If you go to the layout tab and try and change the paper size to something smaller, for example something like 4 by 6, which is probably ideally the size I want to print this at, this is what happens. The paper size changes, but the table doesn't. And actually reformatting this table to shrink it down to that size is going to be an absolute nightmare. Now, I've just lost my table. It's just moved. Let's just put it back into position here. So that's not the way to do it. And even if you use the shrink one page option, when you have that up, it just doesn't work on this. And that's obviously something that you have to add yourself to the quick access toolbar. I have a video on that. Have a look for it up here. So the solution to this is something quite different. We're going to print. So I'm going to File and then Print. And in terms of printing, what we're going to do is we're going to determine how small we want it. In my case, I'd like it to be about 25% of its size. So what I'm going to do is go down here and set up 4 pages per sheet. And so then it's going to print 4 pages per sheet. I don't have 4 pages in my document, but this first page is going to be forced to a quarter of its size. Now I'm going to print that and show that to you in a minute, exactly how it comes out. Now there is another option that you could use, and that is again in the print menu. Go back into print, and in this case I'm just going to print 1 page per sheet, but I'm going to scale this for a smaller sheet of paper. So I'm going down here to the scale to paper size, and I'm going to scale it down to 4 by 6 paper. So I'm going to ask the printer to assume that I'm using 4 by 6 paper. And if I now go and print this, we're going to get another result that's going to be much smaller. Now this is not an exact science. You're not going to get exactly 25%. You're not going to be able to get exactly 50%, but you are going to be able to fudge it to print something that was really quite large at a much smaller size. Now there is a proviso when you're printing these. Your printer may tell you that you don't have that particular paper size, so you might have to deal with your printer. For me, I just lie to it. I just tell it that it's got that paper size, and it goes, okay, then I'm quite happy, I'll go ahead and print it. Even though it doesn't have that paper size in the cassette, it just prints on regular paper. So let's go and have a look at what we've got as a result. So here are the results. Now the first one is the one where I set it up to print 4 on a page, and you can see that instead of printing the full size of this sheet of paper, I've got something that's much smaller. It's about 4 inches wide. Now the one where I used a scaling and said print it on 4 by 6 paper, then I've got a slightly larger result. This is sort of what a 6-inch sheet of paper, 6 inches wide, 4 inches tall would look like. So this is actually filling a 4 by 6 sheet of paper. So as I said, it's not going to be highly specific, so you can't really say I want it to be 40%, but you can fudge it with those sorts of commands and get a much smaller result without having to reformat the table, which quite honestly would take hours to do. And there's absolutely no point in it. If I just want a smaller version of this, then one or other of these options is going to give me pretty much what I want. If you like carefully researched content like this, clearly presented in a step-by-step format so that you can get great results every time, then you'll love my other YouTube videos. So give this video a thumbs up and click to subscribe to the channel. And on the screen now, you'll see a video that I've handpicked for you to watch next.